Welcome to the Rock Hill School District March Business Meeting for the last time from Rawson Road Auditorium, and we certainly are appreciative of Rawson Road being a great host for these many months. And it is my pleasure to introduce Tori Nelson, a 7th grader at Sullivan Middle School, who will provide our call to order.
Good evening, Mr. Vining, members of the board, Superintendent Pugh, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. I'm Tori Nelson, a 7th grader at Sullivan Middle School. I'm honored to represent Sullivan and bring greetings from my principal, Mr. Goodwin, and the faculty and staff of Sullivan. Please stand with me at this time and remain standing for a moment of silence and then a pledge of allegiance. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's now my pleasure to tell you about my experience as a member of the S2S program. S2S is a Monday class that we have every Monday morning, and S2S means Soaring to Service. And we were reading a book called The Running Dream, which is about a girl who lost her leg in a bus crash and she had to be amputated. And it just took us through the journey of how someone who was an amputee struggled and how she gained her leg and how she suffered and lived through her crisis. And it also connected with our science class because we were learning about the human body and how joints worked. And we had just finished a project where we built our own prosthetic legs, and it taught us how joints moved and how a prosthetic leg worked as a real leg. And right after that, we started our media campaign with Miss Crenshaw, and she's our 7th grade leader for this project. And our original goal for our Socks for Legs community project was 80 packs, which was equal to 1 leg. And we've over-exceeded that goal by a lot, with now 400 packs sold, which is 1,200 pairs, and we have 5 legs. And all the children getting the legs, we may not know them. We've gotten some information on someone who has received a leg. His name is Bassett. He is from a third world country, and he's around 7 years old. He was walking to school like the normal kids, and one day a motorbike had crashed into him, and the damage had been so bad that his leg had to get amputated. His parents couldn't afford enough for his leg, therefore he had no way to get to school and walk to school. With Sullivan's efforts and donations, we were able to get him a prosthetic leg. He can now return to school and walk like every other kid. And this project really unified all the students. It's a 7th grade community project, but the 6th graders and the 8th graders purchased socks, which really helped us bring all the school together. And not only locally, but like our whole state helped. We got a letter from the lower part of South Carolina about a woman whose father and grandfather were both amputees and how much this project meant to her. And she sent us $200 in donations for our project. And it's just showing how much of a change maker you can be, because everybody has a voice, as Ms. Shack has always told us. We all have a voice and we all have a purpose, so just use your voice for the best thing that you can. Thank you for inviting me to represent Sullivan.
Tori,
Okay.
she is involved in a lot of things, and what she had described is just fabulous on selling these socks. But she's a member of the student council. She competes in the track and academic challenge teams. She's a member of the Beta Club, the Green Team, and Math Counts. And of course, she's already mentioned her service project. Her parents are Melissa and Kyle Nelson. She has a sister, Veronica, in 2nd grade at Spanish Immersion at Richmond Drive. Her principal is Shane Goodwin. And so I think what your group's doing as a service project, and then coupled with what students doing across the country, shows this community and the world how our students are stepping up to lead. And I think I can't thank you enough and your fellow students enough for what you do. And I'll open it up for questions. Wayne.
Well, I can only echo what Mr. Vining is saying. I think it's extremely impressive and commendable what you have done. And my question is, so how can I help support this? Are you still selling them?
Yes, we are selling socks online, and if you go to the Sullivan website and 7th grade information, we have a link there to take you to the website. We're selling socks online through March 31st.
Phenomenal. And maybe this is something that Mr. Frost can put a little link on?
Yeah.
I see nods in the back. So that's awesome. Well, great job, guys.
I probably missed it, but where do the socks come from? You get them, you buy them, where do they come from?
Well, we're working with an organization called We Help Too that provides the socks for us.
Okay.
And the socks provided, the money goes, we get the socks, and every pack of socks that we get, we also get a pair of warm socks, and that goes to the Havens Men's Shelter, which helps the 6th grade with their community project.
Okay.
Mildred.
Tori, you mentioned the word change. Since you worked on this project, tell me how you have changed by doing this project.
Well, it really brought a sense of unity for the school, so it showed you who really wanted to work, and I was definitely one of those who was really brought into this project. I've been in several interviews. This is around my 4th interview that I've had with this project, and it just means a lot to me to see we don't get a reward for this. It's just a project that we're doing from our heart.
Thank you.
Right. Yes, one more question. How do we contribute to this? Do we come by the school? Or do we get a pair of purple and aqua socks ourselves? What do we do?
Well, these are just some of the socks that we are selling.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have any more at school. We've sold out of those, but we do have a whole bunch more online.
But if we wanted to contribute, we just come by the school and mail
If you just
something?
wanted donations, I think
Uh-huh.
yeah, you can sell it. You could just do your donation to the front office.
All right.
Ann.
I'd like to just echo what I've heard already. I'm so proud of you and the excitement that you have generated from this project. I can see smiles all around our audience, and I'm hoping that people who are watching will also be excited and will be able to donate for socks. And I'm so pleased that you reached out to the 6th graders too, so that both you and 6th grade will be able to benefit from this project. Where did the idea come from?
Well, Miss Shackelford, she had this vision about a service project. It's usually just the 8th graders who do a community project, and we brought it to all grades. Now we have 8th grade community projects, which they choose individually, and then our 7th grade community project, which I've talked about, and then the 6th grade community project, which is raising awareness for the men's shelter.
Very good. Well, thank you. I really appreciate having heard you describe the project, and the teachers, of course, who are in the background holding up the article that you had printed in the Herald. But I'm so proud to have been a part of a group of students who are excited enough to reach out and to help us get on board. So thank you for that effort. Thank you so much.
Wendy.
Once again, thank you for everything you're doing. I have a question about Veronica, your little sister. So, does she come home and teach you and your family Spanish?
Well, my mom is Puerto Rican, so we know some Spanish already. She's growing into Spanish, and I take Chinese high school credit classes. And it's really cool to have so many languages in your house at once.
That is cool, and I hope you're teaching her some Chinese too.
Thank you, Tori.
Great job.
I now entertain a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Moved by Terry Hutchison, second by Wendy Cole. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. I'd like to recognize Walter Brown in the audience tonight. Walter's retired 16-year veteran of the school board, but he's got a special role tonight as a proud grandparent of one of our students to be recognized tonight. So, Walter, it's good seeing you again. And the local news media was notified in writing of the agenda on Friday, March the 23rd. And now we'll go to recognitions. I turn it over to Dr. Pugh.
And Ms. Cole, if you would join me for the recognitions. Braden Shaw. If Braden will come forward. Hi, Braden. Northwestern High School senior Braden Shaw, and you can come stand beside Ms. Cole. He placed third at the South Carolina Band Directors Association's Master Recital Competition in Columbia. Braden was one of 12 high school students from across the state to perform for a panel of judges who evaluated their performances based on technical facility, tone, and musicianship. The finalists for the competition were selected from recordings submitted by students from across the state in early November. Braden is a euphonium player and performed variations on the Scottish folk song Annie Laurie, arranged by Arthur Pryor. He is in the Northwestern High School Symphonic Band, plays trombone in the Northwestern High School Senior Jazz Ensemble, and has been a featured soloist in the Purple Regiment. Braden is also a member of the Winthrop University Youth Wind Ensemble, as well as the UNC Charlotte Youth Wind Ensemble and the South Carolina Youth Wind Symphony. He was selected to perform in the Winthrop Invitational Honors Band, as well as the USC Band Clinic Honors Band. Brandon has been a member of the SCBDA All-State and Region 3 bands for the past 6 years, and last month was named to the 2018 Senior All-State Band. I'm not sure when you do all of this, but we are very proud of you. Congratulations.
Good job.
Yes.
And I do need to say that his band director is standing in the back, Mark Yost, very proud. And also his principal, Mr. James Blake, is in the audience, also very proud. Thank y'all for being here.
Dr. Pugh, did we ask Braden what college he plans to go to?
Where are you going to college? He is going to Winthrop, so he's going to stay around. Great job. Congratulations. Thank you for being here tonight. Heather Giles. We'll let you come stand beside Ms. Cole. We would like to congratulate Rock Hill High School Spanish teacher Heather Giles on her recent election as president-elect for the South Carolina Foreign Language Teachers Association. Over the next 3 years, Ms. Giles will plan and coordinate professional development opportunities for foreign language teachers, represent the organization on the national stage, and work to recruit and orient new members to the organizations. Congratulations, Ms. Giles. We are very proud of you. Ms. Giles' principal, Mr. Ozzie All, is also in the audience. I know he's very proud of Ms. Giles. Thank you for being here.
Dr. Nancy Turner. Rock Hill School's Director of Exceptional Student Education, Dr. Nancy Turner, has been named the 2018 South Carolina Council of Administrators Special Education Administrator of the Year. Turner, who is in her third year in the district, oversees a staff of 300 teachers, therapists, employment specialists, and assistants committed to serving more than 2,500 students with special needs enrolled in various programs for students with disabilities throughout the district. She also collaborates with local organizations such as Catawba Mental Health, Rock Hill Vocational Rehabilitation, Head Start, and other outside resources to assist students. Over the past year, she has been instrumental in leading all schools in the district through a cultural change with an approach to classroom discipline and reinforcement known as PBIS, or Positive Behavior Intervention and Support. Through this approach, teachers are encouraged to accentuate the positive actions of students to minimize disruptions and loss of instructional time when students are removed from classroom for discipline. We are very proud of Dr. Turner, who is the South Carolina Case Administrator of the Year. Congratulations. I want to remind the board, this is the second time that we received this award in the last couple of years. Mr. John Carell was named the case administrator a couple of years ago. So we're very proud. Vi May. Is Vi here? She was, well, we're going to go ahead and talk about her, and then maybe she'll come the next time, Dr. Leonard. Dr. Leonard is her proud principal. We all know that SPIN has received many, many awards over the years. But Ms. Vi May is one that we're recognizing tonight. South Point High School student-run newspaper has a history of producing great material and providing a platform for student journalists to excel in areas of writing, photography, and video. Earlier this month, Editor-in-Chief Vi May was named the South Carolina Scholastic Press Association's Journalist of the Year. Mai has been involved in the journalism department at South Point for the past 4 years under the guidance of advisor Cindy Kuhn. May says the freedom she was afforded beginning in her sophomore year allowed her to pair her knack for English with the ability to write about topics interesting to her. She has served as the entertainment editor and spent last school year working with then editor-in-chief Shelby Beckler to prepare for her role this year. As an IB student, May sees her work in journalism as an outlet from the stresses of her advanced academic course load. Her website and work samples can be viewed at vymai.weebly.com. So please congratulate her for us, Dr. Leonard. And we have 4 students from our ATC who are receiving awards. So if those 4 young ladies, there's 5, please come forward. And I may need to get, nope, I got all of them. I think I've got all of you. Congratulations to our Health Occupation Students of America, better known as HOSA, on a fantastic showing at the 2018 South Carolina HOSA State Leadership Competition in North Charleston. We'd like to recognize instructor Mindy Haney and Brian Smith. Are either of them here tonight with us? We thank them for traveling with our students and providing this opportunity for them to compete at the state level. The following students were recognized at the awards ceremony. Jody Maida was the top 5 for medical law and ethics. And Jody, would you raise your hand so we can? She's not here. Okay. Abby Spurkowski and Iana Meeks, top 5 for community emergency response team. Renee Hilton, Lillian Bagley, Haley McCormick, and Sydney Johnson were also recognized. And Tia Patel placed third in Medical Relief Corps and qualified for nationals, right? So all of you qualified for nationals. All right, so we're going to say that again very clearly. Where is Renee? Renee Hilton, Lillian Bagley, Haley McCormick, Sydney Johnson, and Dia Patel placed third in Medical Relief Corps and qualified for nationals. Congratulations, ladies.
Congratulations. And y'all had to go on the website? Yes, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations. Let's get pictures. Thank you. Congratulations.
And while the ladies are sitting down, Mr. Riveri, who is the director of our Applied Technology Center, and Mr. Curtis, who is the assistant director, are both here today, very proud of their students. So thank you for all that you do for the Career Center. And now coming on stage, we have some young men who I don't know how many years in a row we've been champions in wrestling. Somebody can probably, Mr. Brown can probably tell me, how many? 19. 19! Wow. I'm going to let all of you get here before I start reading. Y'all may want to make a second row so that we can get everyone. We want everybody to be able to see you on camera. And we've got more proud parents standing behind me. All right, guys, I've got quite a bit to read about you because y'all done so many things, so y'all just hang tight. The 2017-2018 Rock Hill High School Bearcat wrestling team finished their season as the South Carolina 5A state dual champions with a thrilling come-from-behind 35-33 victory over the Fort Dorchester Patriots to claim the schools, as one mama told me, 19th state championship. Overall, the Bearcats were 43-2 on the season. Along the way to the championship, the Bearcats won the Silver Fox Invitational, the Bearcat Invitational, the Coach Trap Duels, the Newton Conover Red Devil Duels, and claimed the Region 4 Championship and the South Carolina 5A Upper State Champions. The Bearcats also finished as runner-ups in the Buford Invitational, the WRAL Invitational, the Adam Benson Duels, the J.L. Mann Patriot Duels, and the South Carolina 5A State Individual Tournament. The Bearcats were also very successful individually, as Devin Rice, where's Devin? Raise your hand, there you go, was a state qualifier. Justin Beck and Brandon Mills were state runner-ups. Did both of y'all raise your hands? Thank you. Bailey Wilkins and Noah Reynolds were state champions. The Bearcat Wrestling program now has a dual meet record of 402-38 over the last 11 years. Over that course of time, they have been runner-ups in the state individual team tournament on 4 occasions, state dual team runner-ups on 4 occasions, and state dual team champions on 4 occasions. Highlights of several wrestlers' seasons are, so as I say your name, if you'll just kind of lift your hand. At the 113 weight class, Justin Beck finished with a 60-3 record and was a South Carolina 5A state runner-up, upper state champ. He finishes his career as the second winningest wrestler in school history with a 232-38 career record. Congratulations. At 120, Danny Love. Where's Danny? finished 28-9 and was a South Carolina 5A state qualifier. Congratulations. At 132, Bailey Wilkins. Where's Bailey? Hey, Bailey. Was 71-3 and won both the Upper State and the South Carolina 5A state championship. His state title was his second such honor. Congratulations, Bailey. At 138, Andrew Simpson finished with a 62-11 record. Congratulations, Andrew. At 145, Michael Ramirez ended the season with a 54-18 mark. Where's Michael? Congratulations. At 160, Noah Reynolds.
He couldn't be here tonight. He's got a meeting with his military recruiter.
Okay, he's meeting with his military recruiter, but let me tell you a little bit about Noah. He finished 67-3 and won both the Upper State and the South Carolina 5A state championship. He finishes with a career record of 190-23. So congratulations to him. At 182, Brandon Mills ended the season with a 69-5 record. He won the Upper State and was runner-up at the state championships. His career record is 187-38. Congratulations. And at 285, Devin Rice. There's Devin. Finished 26-11 and was a South Carolina 5A state qualifier. Congratulations. I want y'all to stay for just a minute, and Coach, I want you to come up. You've got some other folks that I think support you that may be here. Would you come and just introduce them?
My head assistant coach, Ryan Whitmore. Assistant coach, Logan Marshall. Assistant coach, Marcus Porter. And assistant coach, Justin Williams.
We are so proud of you. Congratulations. And Mr. Foster, you getting your picture?
I've been known to do it.
We'll make sure we get a good one. Are you good?
Let the parents get noticed.
All right, parents. Again, Mr. All, principal of Rock Hill High School, is here. He's very proud of all of you. We thank you for what you do and for bringing home the state title again. So congratulations. And that ends tonight's recognitions.
While you guys head out, I will say wrestling and Rock Hill High are one of the great traditions in South Carolina. I appreciate all your efforts.
Why did you point to everything? Henry.
Next on the agenda is citizen participation. We have none tonight. The consent action agenda, which includes minutes from the February 12th work session, February 26th business meeting to March 2nd called executive session, approval of personnel recommendations, and approval of activity bus rental requests for the Goddard School going to Black's Peaches on May 11th. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Terry Hutchison, second by Helena Miller. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Next up, we have action agenda items. First up is G policies for first read. We've got policy G. What I'll do is I'll read the policies. If someone wants to take it out and address it separately, we will. If not, we'll take them all in one motion. First one is policy GCR, non-school employment of professional staff. Next one is policy GDQB, resignation of support staff. Policy GDF, support staff hiring. Policy GCQE and GDQE, retirement of staff. And we are eliminating two, GCQE, retirement of professional staff, and GDQE, retirement of support staff. And their elimination is because of the issues being covered in other policies. I'll entertain a motion to approve these.
So moved.
Moved by Terry Hutchison, second by Jane Sharp. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Next up, before I move on to the next part, the G policies we just approved were discussed at the work session in March. They will be up for the work session in April and the business meeting before they become policy. Next up is G policies for second read. I will do the same thing. First one is policy GCA, professional staff positions. Policy GCMD, instructional staff extra duty. Policy GCNA, supervision of instructional staff. Policy GDA, support staff positions. Policy GD0, evaluation of support staff. Policy GCCAAA, sick leave bank. I'm going to ask that we take that out because we've got some comments from that. Not that we take that, but we'll address that separately. And that also has the administrative rule. Policy GDJ, support staff assignments and transfers and administrative rule. Next one is policy GCQA and GCQB, professional staff reduction in force. We'll ask that that be taken out and addressed separately. And then policy GDR, non-school employment support staff. Just a second. Whoever the heads up was, I did skip one. We're going to address that later. I'll entertain a motion to approve those that were not taken out in one motion. Moved by Jane Sharp. For a second. Wendy Cole. Discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Before we go to the other one for first read IKF, let's deal with these that were pulled out. First one is sick leave bank. We had, I think, 3 comments on the sick leave bank, and I'll just briefly. One of them was consider adding parents to extended leave for immediate family. Often an adult child is a caregiver for an aging or ill parent. One question is whether the length of days should be shortened, even though we've already shortened it once, because an employee who's had several illnesses may have used up all their sick leave. And Then one is concerned with dependent children, and that would be children that fall over the 24-year age limit. And I guess you've seen these. Would you comment on those?
Good evening. In both of the adding parents and the dependent children, typically what happens is if a person is applying for sick leave bank, they're already on FMLA. So if they're on FMLA, that goes to the sick leave board and they do consider it. Just to say a blanket yes. Again, we'll have to meet the qualifications of being catastrophic and all the other qualifications of being awarded sick leave days. But yes, we do consider dependent children over the age of 24. We just approved one 2 weeks ago of a child that was in a horrific motorcycle accident, and the mom needed to be out to take care of the child over age, and the same with aging parents.
Because both of those are considered under FMLA.
That's correct.
As a part of that.
Good. I knew that the aged parent was one that I had dealt with, so I'm glad you included that. Thank you.
Board members have any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve policy GCCAAA, sick leave bank, and the administrative rule. It's moved by Jane Sharp, seconded by Terry Hutchison. Any discussion? All those in favor raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. The next one up is professional staff reduction in force. And I guess I raised I believe the policy should state what we do in practice. And this is, the policy as proposed reads, notice to individual staff member, if after considering the superintendent's recommendation, the board acts to terminate employment of a professional staff member, the board will give written notice of that decision to the affected member. The superintendent will send the written notice by certified mail, return receipt requested, and regular U.S. mail. And that's required. My problem is that it should state that the employee hears from their supervisor before they get to. And I understand that is common practice, but that should be reflected in policy. Because if you followed the letter of the policy, you wouldn't have to do that. And as we heard, some school districts do not do that. And I think it's important that we ought to put into policy what we do. And I would say, it should say that the written notice will be sent after the supervisor has met with the employee.
And what the language what you may want it to say is superintendent or his or her designee, because depending upon, we hope we never have to go to a reduction of force like we had in 2008 in some parts of the state, but it could take more than one person. So I think if it said superintendent or his or her designee, it may not be the supervisor, typically as a district level person with the supervisor. That gives a little more discretion. You're not naming a specific person or category. You're saying whoever the superintendent designates would give verbal, I think is what you're saying, Mr. Vining, that they would have a meeting. They would say it to them. They wouldn't just get a letter in the mail saying, we're going to have to enact reduction in force.
Question. You're saying that if we did, hopefully not, have a situation as we did where we did have to reduce quite a few jobs, then you would not necessarily meet with that person, whoever it was?
The superintendent or his or her designee. So it could be Dr. Campbell, it could be somebody in instruction. Sometimes when there are so many, if you want to do it in a certain period of time, it takes several people to be able to meet individually with employees.
But they could meet with you on request?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that would actually even be a part of the appeal. There's a process if they believe that it was not handled appropriately, that they can actually even see the board. But superintendent or his or her designee allows us to assign different folks to go out and talk with individuals that are going to be impacted. But that it would have to be followed in writing, because I think that is actually a state requirement.
Hopefully we never have to use
I hope not.
And I guess my issue is, do we need to carry this over so that we have the right verbiage, or I'm confident the right verbiage will get in there.
I mean, if the board agrees that it is approved with and we just need to say where it's gonna be, I mean, there's no issue on our end for it to say, will be informed by the superintendent or his or her designee, or however in person.
Is this a critical time matter that we approve it at this point?
I hope not.
That's what I'm, so why not just rewrite it and bring it up for vote at the next meeting? That way it's
Absolutely.
crystal clear what we're actually voting on.
That is fine. I certainly hope we don't have to enact it.
No, and I wasn't being facetious.
No,
I'm
I
saying
understand.
is there some reason why we need to absolutely have it approved tonight?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, let's do it right the first time.
in that case, I'll move that we table this one until next meeting.
You've been said, and I didn't hear it. Did we have comments, written comments about this one?
No,
Okay, just yours.
just my comments.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The motion had been made, so
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
right.
need to table. We'll bring that over to the work session. Going back up to item G in the action agenda, approval of policy IKF, administrative rule graduation requirements. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Terry Hutchinson has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Helena Miller is seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Next up is we have a resolution, and I'll just read the resolution. It was moved by the County Council in October. We have 6 months to approve. This helps the county get, I'm assuming, grant money or federal money for hazard mitigation. This says a resolution adopting the York County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan, whereas Rock Hill School District 3 of York County, South Carolina, hereinafter referred to as RHSD, recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property. And whereas undertaking hazard mitigation actions before disasters occur will reduce the potential for harm to people and property and save taxpayer dollars. And whereas an adoption of a hazards mitigation plan is required as a condition of future grant funding of mitigation projects. And whereas RHSD participated jointly in the planning process with the other local units of government within the county to prepare a hazards mitigation plan. And whereas RHSD is aware that revision and updating of the plan is critical for active and effective hazards mitigation planning. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of RHSD hereby adopts the York County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan as an official plan. And be it further resolved that RHSD shall submit the adoption of the Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan to the Federal Emergency Management Agency officials for final approval. And then, with the approval of the board, we'll sign it and send it in. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Terry Hutchison, seconded by Wendy Cole. Any discussion? All those in favor, James, you
I got back in town about an hour ago. Do we have a copy of that? Is that in the agenda? I read the agenda.
should be, you can have my copy.
Okay. Okay.
Any other discussion?
Okay.
All those in favor, raise your hand.
Okay.
Motion carries 7-0. We have no communications. Next up is report of superintendent.
Our next school board meeting will be on Monday, April the 9th, 2018, when we hold our data session and work session. This will be our first meeting in the new central office. The next business meeting will be held on Monday, April the 23rd. Meetings will continue to be streamed on our website and on Facebook, as well as being made available for on-demand viewing immediately following each broadcast. Partnering with local law enforcement agencies, Rock Hill Schools is hosting a school safety town hall on Tuesday, March the 27th at 6:30 p.m. here at Rollinson Road Middle School. The event will provide a forum for panelists to share how their organizations actively assist Rock Hill Schools to provide a safe and secure learning environment. I will be joined on the panel by Rock Hill Police Chief Chris Watts, York County Sheriff Kevin Tolson, Winthrop University School Psychology Professor and co-author of the Prepare program, Dr. Melissa Reeves, and our own Safety Manager, Kevin Wren. Guests in the audience will have an opportunity to ask panelists questions. The town hall meeting will be moderated by CN2's Lucas McFadden. We invite parents to attend this event as well as community members. We are hosting a kindergarten registration kickoff on Saturday, April the 14th at the central office to begin the registration process for students who will graduate as part of the class of 2031. At the event, families will be assisted with the district's online registration system and be able to meet teachers and administrators from our elementary schools. For years, we have visited schools and districts as a member of the League of Innovative Schools, and it is with great excitement and honor that we announce that more than 100 superintendents and district leaders from across the country will be in our school district on April the 26th and 27th, visiting some of our schools. We look forward to this tremendous opportunity to showcase the incredible work happening in our schools. The Build on the Rock website has been updated with photos. You are encouraged to visit the district's capital building program, Build on the Rock website, www.rock-hill.k12.sc.us/Build on the Rock for more information. This website provides status updates on active and planned construction projects in the district. On the page, viewers can see project descriptions, before and after photographs, and construction timelines. This is just a reminder that Friday, March the 30th is a regular school day for students. This day is a makeup day for a snow day that was used earlier this winter. And this concludes our announcements.
Review of the school board work session on March the 12th. It was held here at Rawson Road Middle School. We held a monthly data session. We discussed Section G policies for first and second read. We reviewed the York County Hazard Mitigation Plan. We reviewed guidelines for the new South Carolina high school credentials and reviewed policy IKF and administrative rule graduation requirements. We received an activity bus rental request from the Goddard School. We received a technology update. We received a food services update. We discussed other and future businesses, and we held an executive session for personnel matters. Next, I'll ask if the board members have any items for future business.
Just a reminder about economic statements being due.
I hope everybody has turned theirs in.
Yes.
All right. I would say for the April work session, we need to resolve the random drug testing policy. We got a model policy sent to us about having a protest policy. Since a parent reached out to me, I think it would be nice for us to consider that, of putting it in so that parents would know consequences of that, and that would start at the basis with the model policy that the South Carolina School Board Association sent out. Yeah.
In reference to that, were we not supposed to get some information in the hotline on that too?
In terms of?
In terms of, in reference to drug testing for staff members.
We'll get that with everything.
It'll be in the packet, okay? Because I think it was actually said it was going to come through in a hotline, and I hadn't seen it, so.
There was said, but I think now it's better just to put it all together. It all tied in. And I suggest we at least start on the follow-up from our November retreat on deciding the measures for the goals that we established. We're supposed to do that about 6 months after the November retreat, and that should be an item that we should address. We have some board members that are going to the National School Board Association conference, and that's in San Antonio the week after the Final Four, I guess. There may not be much left. So we got 2 board members and...
I'm going and Dr. Jurassic.
Okay, so we have 4 people there. Anything else for the board?
I think it's called it.
Yes.
For one of our work sessions, I would love to have the ATC talk about how many students we have enrolled in the different classes and programs. And I'd like the numbers of how many students apply for a lot of these different classes that we're not able to accommodate.
Got it. Or anything else? Ann?
I'd like to ask if one of our community visits could include the swimming team. I'm thinking about the YMCA joint agreement with Rock Hill Schools so that we can see what is happening in those classes. I'd like that to be considered as a community visit, one of the visits that we can look at the kids.
So you're actually asking that we schedule it at a time that our children would be there, swimming, getting the swimming lessons is what you're asking.
Anything else? All right, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel, contractual matter, hiring matters, and contractual matter trademark agreement. Moved by Wendy Cole, seconded by any discussion. We'll start out here. We have some issues that we probably will have to go somewhere else. So we'll start the executive session in here. And does anybody need a break before we get started? All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. We'll go to executive session.